As a student, you can't get very far on YouTube without coming across Study With Me videos. Over the past couple of years, I've contributed to this popular genre, which is typically represented by a student on camera who studies diligently for several hours, a Pomodoro timer to distinguish between study sessions and to regulate breaks, and ambience, whether that be through the backdrop, music or both. Study With Me videos have grown in popularity since 2017, notably during the pandemic when public learning and teaching spaces were closed. But why is this genre so popular with students? Academic research has concluded that Study With Me videos are popular in part because they influence internal states, distraction and motivation in a positive direction. In other words, they help students be more productive in their studies. In this video, we'll unlock the secrets of the Science of Study With Me genre and find out how a video on YouTube can help you to transform your studies. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Emily, a university teacher in the arts and humanities, but also someone who frequently studies as a student myself. And on this channel, we explore all things study related. I've made over 50 Study With Me videos on YouTube, and through my study community, the Study Chambers, I hosted over 400 live Study With Me sessions in the academic year 2023 to 2024. During my own journey of delivering live Study With Me sessions and making YouTube videos, there was a moment in the spring of this year where my thinking around Study With Me changed. And what I found when I investigated the academic research on Study With Me was that through intuition, my filmmaking was leaning into many of the central findings emerging from the literature. This is what I learned. Study With Me videos are popular in part because they influence internal states, distraction and motivation in a positive direction through external ambience. Remember this quote? We can discover more context by revealing the end of the sentence. Let's explore how Study With Me invokes ambience in a little more detail. When I first began making Study With Me videos, I realised there was an opportunity to create a desk backdrop that would look attractive on camera and provide interest for the viewer in moments when they were pausing from their studies and looking up from their books. I leaned into this over time, and it's safe to say things got a little out of hand. You know this when you are working at your desk surrounded by many pumpkins or multiple clocks. So the backdrops developed and became more involved and immersive over time. But I wanted to go further. I looked at some of my favourite Study With Me videos and some of the most popular on YouTube, and I noticed that these went beyond the typical Study With Me genre videos, incorporating immersive environments through visuals, music and ASMR. Most of these didn't identify as Study With Me videos in the title or thumbnail, but in my opinion they include enough of the features of Study With Me videos to be included in the genre. Rather than the viewer simply watching or studying alongside another student, these videos situated the viewer in an immersive environment. In other words, gave them a perspective, an imagined context in which they were studying, or a point of view. This leans into one of the key findings from the academic literature, and it's interesting how social media and academics have arrived at the same conclusion: immersion and ambience as one of the primary benefits of Study With Me videos. To understand the concept of immersion and its impact on study, we need to look at the broader field of research, and that is in library literature. Ambience, extending to what's known as social ambience, frequents library research to address challenges libraries face in the digital age. where library brand is critical to communicating value to the institutions which fund them. Albert in 2017 extended the idea of library brand to creating physiological and emotional change in library users, noting that this is more than the look and feel of the service, it is making the user or library patron feel something. Therefore, similarities can be drawn between Study With Me videos on YouTube and library design, and this similarity is expressed through one librarian's reflection on library ambience as evoking students' feelings to facilitate intellectual discovery and knowledge creation. For this reason, in a lecture available on YouTube, this particular librarian noted that he really likes the scented candles you can buy which smell like old books, because you can recreate the library ambience in your own home. And this brings me back to the moment I changed direction with my Study With Me videos. With everything I'd learned from reflection and looking at other YouTube videos, I took loose inspiration from one of my favourite videos titled A Playlist for Night Studies. I was inspired by several concepts. 1, the nighttime setting, 2, the intimate close-up placement of the camera, and 3, the use of rain sounds to create an immersive ASMR experience. There were several features of this video which I didn't adopt. The aesthetic, though I love the mid-century modern vibe, the piano music from providers such as Epidemic Sound, loses its copyright-free status when used in this kind of context, and the looped visual footage. Initially I was very dismayed by this, but grew to love the repetition and rhythm. Here's the ambience I created for my video. A dark academia backdrop with baroque lighting and immersive ASMR in the form of rain and background noise. But I went further. I decided to tell the story at the moments before or after sitting down to study, to really draw the viewer in. The chime to mark the end of the study session was replaced by a noise from the imagined environment, a clock outside of an open window. We hear footsteps, doors opening and closing, a typewriter, ambience from a library with other people studying, and thunder. And this is what students had to say. One of my favourite comments reflected the immersive ambience. I got so wrapped up in the sound of the rainfall, I stood up to go and close my windows. The Baroque reference was also picked up, and the outcomes from academic research relating to the impact of ambience and focus were also acknowledged in the comments. I just loved the whole ambience, really helping me focus on my study sessions. Some of these comments touch upon our next video chapter, creating a library at home. Let's explore this in further detail now. I noted the impact of the pandemic on the popularity of Study With Me videos on YouTube. However, with public learning and teaching spaces closed for long periods, library services were also exploring how students could recreate the library experience at home using visual imagery and ambient noise such as ASMR. Therefore, it could be argued that Study With Me videos go further than simply creating a transient immersive ambience and attempts to recreate a library at home to achieve a longer study session with less distraction. While Study With Me literature is an emerging field, research into the related practice of writing accountability groups has gathered in pace over recent years. In contrast with Study With Me, writing accountability groups are established as both face-to-face and online practices for students and academics, which adopt a Pomodoro timer to regulate study time and breaks. These events enable more interaction between participants, including conversation and mentoring during the breaks. Some of the benefits observed in academic research into writing accountability groups are largely in keeping with findings in Study With Me literature, increasing student productivity, time management and motivation, whilst reducing distractions. But there are some differences between writing accountability groups and the genre of Study With Me. Whilst the transmitted nature of Study With Me videos restricts real-time interactions between students and creators, these study sessions have the advantage of being available for students 24/7, transcending time and space. Real-time Study With Me sessions live streamed on YouTube increase opportunity for community formation, interaction and peer support. One YouTube creator with very active real-time community interaction is Merv's Study Corner. Merv live streams Study With Me study sessions several times a week and has established a strong community of students who return regularly to her channel and have not only established a parasocial relationship with the creator as their study buddy, but also with other learners in the chat. Quite frequently, it's possible to see viewers asking in the chat if another student is present. These are relationships which have been established through live streams amongst a worldwide community of students who simply join the live stream to study, find support and chat with others present. Combining the two approaches, Study With Me and writing accountability groups, to create regular synchronous online study sessions with real-time community interaction adopts a socio-cultural approach to building a community of practice and draws upon a framework of situated learning. Quite simply, this is the benefits of learning through participating in a community, or in other words, community counts in contexts where learning takes place. In August 2023, I established a virtual study group who, from October 2023, had the opportunity to meet daily in an online room for a study session. This drew on both the idea of writing accountability groups and being inspired by creator Merv's study community. As a university lecturer working at a distance learning institution, I was able to draw from a large existing pool of students. Having made Study With Me videos on YouTube for a year by this point, but only having a relatively small number of subscribers, I was interested in not only experimenting with running live sessions, but also the development of community and mentoring opportunities and peer support in the breaks. The community has now become established enough for me to develop an independent platform to host this. I also realised that through the study chambers, I wasn't just hosting live Study With Me sessions, I'd actually created a library. And it came as quite a shock when I realised this, because I'd started out with the intention of just hosting some live study sessions online. When I designed our platform recently, I lent into the right library references in naming some of the online spaces. So this draws upon the earlier research of Study With Me as recreating a library at home. I hope that you've enjoyed learning a little more about the science of Study With Me and gaining deeper insight into this popular video genre on YouTube. The overriding message from research is that engaging in Study With Me sessions, whether live or pre-recorded, can lead to better outcomes in your studies. So if you want to try one out, why not pick from my playlist of over 50 videos? And if this video has inspired you to enhance the ambience of your study space using decorative objects, check out this video to see how I created my dark academia desk backdrop. Thanks for watching.